Hey, what's going on, Summoners? My name is Nathan Ing, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 CS tips that you can use to improve your minion score. CSing is one of the most important parts of League of Legends, so be sure to stay tuned so you can go ahead and win more of your games and CS like a pro. Now, we've all heard the saying, practice makes perfect. Well, what if I told you that wasn't exactly true? Well, it is, but what if you're practicing the wrong things? You can look at players who've been playing League for multiple years in a row without improving, for example, such as me. Aren't they technically practicing with every single game that they play? Theoretically, with enough time, you should improve in skill level. However, this isn't exactly the case all the time. This is because you just autopilot and don't focus on what you're doing in the game when you should be trying to look at every single mistake that you make. That being said, let's fix that old saying and actually get some good habits in you so you can go ahead and improve as much as you like to. Trust us, your favorite pro players didn't get where they are by simply spamming games. But before we dive further into creating a good training regimen, don't forget to check us out at ProGuides.com, where you can go ahead and view our great catalog of coaches that can personally create a walkthrough to your dream rank. While you're there, be sure to explore around and take a look at our amazing subscription service so you can go ahead and watch exclusive videos by Core JJ, Xmithy, and so much more. Nonetheless, let's get back into the video and dive right into how you can CS like a challenger player. Let's start with a better phrase. Perfect practice makes practice perfect. If you're going to be trying to improve your CS skills and creating good habits, you'll need to make sure that you're practicing properly. This can be done by setting aside 5 to 10 minutes before you go into your next grinding session. During these 5 to 10 minutes, you want to pick a champion with low AD like Soraka and attempt to farm as perfectly as possible. Start off the first few weeks by playing one adaptive damage rune and one attack speed rune, and with a Doran's Blade. After you get used to farming extremely well with that, slowly take each part away until you're eventually getting a high CS number with no items or offensive runes. This will take a lot of time, but this will build good habits for you, and you'll be able to successfully reach more than 8 CS per minute just like your favorite pro players. For our next tip, it's something that you may have heard before. As a laner, especially if you're playing a late game scaling champion, you always want to aim for 10 CS per minute. Let's take a minute and break down what this saying means, because quite a few people feel like it's unrealistic and useless. The entire concept of aiming for 10 CS per minute is that you'll be able to have a ton of gold for your power spikes. While it is pretty unrealistic to get 10 CS per minute in every single game, it's more about the concept of trying to reach your goal. If you're constantly telling yourself that you need to reach that CS goal, then you'll continuously look for opportunities to farm. Building this mindset of wanting to have high CS actually plays a massive role that most players don't even think about. If you're constantly looking to CS, then you'll always be at your power spikes as fast or faster than your enemy laner. Alongside this, farming will often keep you from making bad decisions. When you're going to catch waves, it's unlikely that you're going to roam to random, useless fights. These type of random skirmishes often lose the games, especially in the lower elos. That being said, keeping your numbers high is a great way for you to avoid useless deaths, have strong power spikes, and overall, keep yourself in the game longer. A great way to keep yourself focused is to pay attention to your downtime. If you're not doing anything or don't know what to do, the safest bet is to always farm. Before we continue on with the video, don't think for a second that we've forgotten about everybody's favorite ProGuides tradition. For our question of the day, we want to know, what champion do you think feels the best to CS with? Honestly, I love CSing with Caitlyn, but I don't really like playing her, so I'm kind of stuck there. Anyway, let us know your answers in the comments section down below. Nonetheless, let's get back into the video with our third CSing tip, understanding the actual importance of CSing. So we've been talking about how important it is to have high farm numbers and how to build good habits. But do you actually know why CSing is so important? Is it to show all your friends how great you are at farming? Maybe. For you to have a lot of gold? Well, that's actually all that and so much more. CSing is important, but let's break down how important it is so you can better understand why it's such an important skill. Let's start off by talking about a pretty basic breakdown. Of course, we all know that minions provide most of your gold income, well, unless you're a support main. So then it's pretty common to miss CS and think nothing of it because it can't cost that much gold, right? Well, let's say that you miss 3 minions each way for one reason or another. You just would tell yourself, well, it's just 3 minions. But if you were to add up those minions over the course of 5 minutes, then you would have missed about 600 gold. That's a pretty massive amount. This is because on average, 3 minions that you missed were worth around 60 gold total. And let's not even get started on if you miss cannon minions so often, because they may as well be worth the entire wave. Which is sometimes why I see people actually rage quit when they miss these minions. Now that we know how easy it is to lose so much gold, why is that so important? Well, for starters, you obviously won't have the money that you need to buy the items in order for your power spikes. However, the real issue is that if your enemy is CSing better than you, let's say your enemy laner didn't miss the minion that you did, well, now they can come back to the lane with a significantly better recall than you. And trust us, in a new meta where mythics means everything for most champions, having your enemy get it before you can often lead to them snowballing off of your deaths. For example, imagine that you're playing Katarina versus Cassiopeia. You want to have your item Nashor's Tooth before she does, especially since it's cheaper. With this item advantage, you can easily kill her and begin your snowball by buying more items and getting more kills. Overall, just keep in mind how much a minion is worth. It's super easy to brush off missing a few, but those add up to quite a lot when the game goes on, especially if you're reaching 30-minute or more matches. Okay, so we've all heard about how one-tricking champions leads to a massive advantage when it comes to matchups and combos. Well, it actually helps out a ton when it comes to clearing waves under turrets. This is especially true when you're playing champions who will definitely constantly be pushed in like Vayne or Akali. Now, we're not saying being a one-trick will be a game changer when it comes to CSing, but it'll definitely help quite a bit. Since you know your champion's damage, you'll be able to know if you can clear the wave easily or if you'll have to whittle away at the minions as they approach your turret. This is even more true if you're a mage player, since your lack of AD can often make it difficult to farm under your turret. For example, let's say you're a Samira one-trick. You would know then how much damage you would need in order to clear the caster minions under your turret without missing any. While someone who's not super familiar with her would end up either missing a few, or they'll end up prepping all the minions incorrectly and missing a majority of them. Now, you don't need to be a one-trick to get good at this skill. Prepping minions under turret is all about knowing your champion's damage at different points in the game. Does your champion clear casters with one ability, or do they need certain item spikes to have a wave clear? For example, Lux's E won't kill caster minions until it's maxed out and you have a lost chapter. Being able to understand these small, very specific power spikes can often help you out a ton when it comes to farming, especially when you're under your turret. Just be sure to pay extra attention to what you're building and how much damage that you do. As an overall tip, just be sure to pay attention to your champion and their damage, especially early on. As a good cheat sheet, when you're CSing under your turret, melee minions need 2 tower shots before you can actually kill them with a basic attack. With some mages, you'll need 2 basic attacks, but it's pretty rare. As for casters, they'll tank 1 turret shot before somebody with a decent amount of AD will kill it with 1 auto. If you're a mage, you want to prep the minion with a basic attack before the turret shoots it and then kill it with an additional 1 afterwards. It takes a bit of practice to learn how much damage turrets do, but if you take the time to pay attention and focus on it, you'll slowly learn. Don't just autopilot and CS like you normally do. It's all about focus. And before we go on to the final point, if you want to join an amazing community of people just like you that loves lists, talk pieces, and other things like this, check out our Discord using the link found in the description. What are you waiting for? Join up. Nonetheless, let's get back into the video and take a final look at our tip for CSing. Last but certainly not least, we've also got the fact that the enemy also wants CS. The goal that you have when it comes to farming and getting a lot of gold is to be strong. Yeah, the enemy has the same thing going on in their heads. Understanding this may not seem like a lot and it may feel pretty basic, but this gives you a massive advantage when it comes to farming. Since you know the enemy wants to have a lot of gold for later, be sure to punish them when they go for the CS. It's one of the most best trading windows in the laning phase since their basic attack will be focused on the minion. That being said, it's likely that you're going to be punished as well. So unless you're into that, just try to keep in mind before you greed for a minion. You'll need to make the decision of taking the harass for the CS or choosing to take a short trade with them. This can be done while the enemy's under turret as well, and it's often why champions like Caitlyn are so oppressive. They not only force you to play a minigame of trying to CS under your turret, but they are also trying to look to harass you when you go for every minion. This will often not only give free health advantages due to their winning trades, but this will also keep the enemy's CS numbers low while yours stay fairly high. Overall, you both have the same goal. Be sure to understand how to punish it and how the enemy can punish you for it. Wave management can be a pretty complicated topic to cover. It's one of the strongest fundamentals in the game, and it often separates a good player from a great player. Plus, as you rank up, it only becomes more and more important. If you combine wave management with our previous tips, you'll realize how much power there is in denying CS. If you can trade with the enemy as a CS or stop them from CSing a few minions altogether, you'll slowly build an advantage. Like we said before, even missing 3 minions per wave can be pretty massive. This is why if you want to watch some of your favorite streamers or pro players, you'll often see that they care more about their wave state than they do whether they die or not. If you truly want to be good at CSing, you'll have to get the basics of wave management down so you can not only keep yourself ahead, but so you can also keep the enemy behind. Plus, it's pretty likely that you autopilot and just use your abilities and attacks to clear the wave. Just put some extra thought and ask yourself why you're trying to clear the wave so quickly. Mix in these tips with some wave management and you've got a recipe for solid fundamentals that can carry you all the way to high elo off macro alone. Anyway, that sums up our video for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to join our ProGuides family at ProGuides.com. We offer exclusive giveaways and classes that you won't be able to catch anywhere else, so stay tuned and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video, but don't forget, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.